Have you ever felt the temperature of a relationship drop 50 degrees in a single afternoon? One moment, you are the center of someone's universe, worshipped, adored, and placed on a pedestal so high it makes you dizzy. You are their soulmate, their savior, the only person who has ever truly understood them. And then, without warning, the script flips. The text messages stop coming. The adoration turns into irritation. The eyes that once looked at you with love now scan you with cold, dead indifference. You haven't changed. You are the same person you were last week. Yet suddenly, you can do no right. You have entered the devaluation phase. This is not just a rough patch. It is a psychological demolition project designed to bring you to your knees. Today, we are going to dissect exactly why this happens, the science behind why it hurts so much, and the dark reality of why you were set up to fail from the very beginning. To understand why the fall is so brutal, we have to look at the climb. The idle phase, often called lovebombing, wasn't actually about you. This is the hardest pill to swallow. The narcissist or toxic individual was never falling in love with you as a human being. They were falling in love with a reflection of themselves they saw in your eyes. You were a mirror, a shiny, perfect object that made them feel worthy. But here is the problem with being an object. Objects aren't allowed to have needs, flaws, or bad days. The moment you showed a sign of humanity, maybe you voiced a need, or you got sick, or you simply didn't react perfectly to one of their stories, the mirror cracked. The devaluation begins not because you did something wrong, but because you ceased to be a fantasy and started being a real person. To a toxic personality, reality is the enemy. The transition is often subtle at first. It's what psychologists call the shift. It starts with backhanded compliments. They might say, "You look great, but maybe don't wear that color next time." It sounds like help, but it's a test. They are testing your boundaries to see how much criticism you will accept in exchange for their affection. When you let it slide, the devaluation ramps up. This is where the psychological concept of intermittent reinforcement comes into play, and this is why you don't just leave. If they were mean to you 100% of the time, you would walk away. The human brain is smart enough to avoid pain, but they aren't mean all the time. They sprinkle in moments of the old warmth. They give you a breadcrumb of affection just when you are about to break. This creates a chemical addiction in your brain comparable to gambling. You are pulling the lever on a slot machine. Most of the time, you lose. You get silence, criticism, and contempt. But every once in a while, you hit the jackpot, and they smile at you like they used to. Your brain releases dopamine, and you stay, chasing that high, convinced that if you just behave perfectly enough, you can bring the idle phase back permanently. But here is the secret they don't want you to know. The idle phase is never coming back. It was a lure. Now you are in the trap. As the devaluation deepens, the dynamic shifts from adoration to competition. You might notice they start comparing you to others, ex-partners, random strangers, or even your own friends. This is called triangulation. They manufacture a triangle where you are suddenly fighting for your position. They want you to feel insecure. They want you to dance for their approval. When you are anxious and begging for reassurance, you are providing them with narcissistic supply. Your pain feeds their ego just as much as your praise did. It's a brutal paradox. The more you try to please them, the more they despise you. Why? Because in their worldview, strength is about dominance. By submitting to their abuse, by trying harder to win them back, you look weak to them. They begin to view you with contempt. The very qualities they claimed to love, your empathy, your kindness, your vulnerability, are now weaponized against you. Your empathy is labeled as being overly sensitive. Your kindness is seen as gullibility. The silence becomes a weapon too. The silent treatment is a hallmark of the devaluation phase. It is a form of emotional murder. When they refuse to acknowledge your existence, they are communicating that you are insignificant. You cease to exist in their world. This triggers a primal panic in the human brain, specifically in the anterior cingulate cortex, the part of the brain that registers physical pain. Being ignored by someone you're attached to literally hurts. And while you're spiraling, sending paragraph-long texts trying to explain yourself, they are often perfectly calm. This leads us to the most dangerous part of this phase, reactive abuse. You can only be poked, prodded, criticized, and ignored for so long before you snap. Eventually, you will yell, you will cry, you will say something mean, and the moment you do, they'll pull out their phone to record you, or they will simply sit back with a smug look and say, "See, you're the crazy one, you're the unstable one." They push you to your breaking point so they can blame you for the reaction. It effectively scrubs their hands clean of the weeks or months of subtle psychological torture they put you through. You end up apologizing to them for your reaction to their abuse. This is the ultimate victory for the devaluation phase. You are now convinced that you are the problem. You start to police your own behavior. You stop seeing your friends because they cause drama. You stop pursuing your hobbies because they are stupid. You shrink. You make yourself small, quiet, and insignificant, hoping that by taking up less space, you will stop being a target. But it doesn't work. The target isn't your behavior. The target is your spirit. They need to devalue you because they cannot sustain the energy required to pretend they are perfect. They projected their own God complex onto you, and when they realized you were human, they felt betrayed. But deeper than that, they are projecting their own internal shame onto you. Every criticism they hurl at you, that you are selfish, that you are needy, that you are unlovable, is actually a confession. They are talking to themselves, using you as the proxy. The tragedy of the devaluation phase is that you spend all your energy trying to solve a puzzle that has no solution. You analyze every conversation, replay every interaction, and agonizingly critique your own character. You ask yourself, "What did I do?" The answer is terrifyingly simple. You did nothing. You simply existed. The devaluation wasn't a punishment for a crime you committed. It was the inevitable expiration date of their mask. The person who treated you like an idol was a character they were playing. The person treating you like you are insignificant, that is who they actually are. The coldness, the cruelty, the lack of empathy, that is their baseline personality. Realizing this is painful, but it is also the key to the cage. You cannot fix this because it is not broken. It is functioning exactly as it was designed to. You are being drained so they can feel full. When you understand that the idol phase was a lie and the devaluation is the truth, you stop trying to get back to the beginning. You realize there is nothing to go back to. You stop viewing yourself as insignificant and start viewing them as incapable of connection. You stop waiting for them to see your value. They saw your value in the beginning. That's why they targeted you. They wanted to consume it. The spirit breaking stops the moment you refuse to accept their version of reality. You are not insignificant. You are simply being viewed through a broken lens. Don't let a person who hates themselves teach you to hate yourself. If you recognized your story in this script, understand that you are not crazy and you are not alone. This is a pattern, a script that they follow with everyone. Breaking free starts with seeing the game for what it is. If you want to understand the next phase of this cycle, the discard, and how to prepare for it, make sure you are subscribed. We dive deep into the psychology of toxic dynamics to help you reclaim your reality. Leave a comment below if you've ever experienced that sudden temperature drop in a relationship. Let's talk about it.